Portrait of Lady by Kushwant Singh. Question and answer. Question 1. Notice these expressions in the text. Infer their meaning from the context. The thought was almost revolting. An expanse of pure white serenity, a turning point, accepted her seclusion with resignation. A veritable bedlam of chirruping frivolous rebukes the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. Answer. The thought was almost revolting. The thought that the author's grandmother was once young and pretty raises a doubt on the mind of the author. He finds it too hard to believe. An expanse of pure white serenity, it refers to the calm, peaceful and serene character and conduct of the author's grandmother. She is compared to the peaceful winter landscape in the mountains. A turning point, it refers to the point where the author's relationship with his grandmother changes drastically after they moved to the city house. Accepted her seclusion with resignation. This shows the author's grandmother's passive submission to her secluded life after she gradually loses touch with her grandson. A veritable bedlam of chirruping, it refers to the noise, confusion and chaos caused by the chirruping of the sparrows that scattered and perched around the author's grandmother. Frivolous rebukes, it refers to the casual and light-hearted rebukes of the grandmother to the sparrows. The sagging skins of the dilapidated drum, it points to the shabby and deteriorated condition of the drum. Question 2. Mention the three phases of the author's relationship with his grandmother before he left the country to study abroad. Answer. The three phases of the author's relationship with his grandmother before he left the country to study abroad are given below. The first phase was the period of the author's early childhood. During this phase, he used to live with his grandmother in the village. The grandmother used to take care of him from waking him up and getting him ready to accompanying him to the school. Both shared a good friendship with each other. The second phase was the time when the author and the grandmother moved to the city to live with author's parents. This was a turning point in their friendship because now they saw less of each other. The third phase was the time the author joined university. He was given a room of his own and the common link of their friendship was snapped. The grandmother turns to will spinning and reciting prayers all day long. She accepts her seclusion with silence. Question 3. Mention 3 reasons why the author's grandmother was disturbed when he started going to the city school. Answer. The author's grandmother was disturbed when he started going to the city school because, 1. She could not help him with his lessons in English, science. She didn't believe in them. 2. No teaching of God and scriptures. 3. She was unhappy with the idea of music lessons being given at school. She considered music suitable only for the people with low dignity. Question 4. Mention 3 ways in which the author's grandmother spent her days after he grew up. Answer. The 3 ways in which the author's grandmother spent her days after he grew up are by spinning wheel, reciting prayers and feeding the sparrows. Question 5. Mention the odd way in which the author's grandmother behaved just before she died. Answer. The grandmother told the family her end was near. She had omitted to pray. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. She lay peacefully in bed praying and telling her beads. Question 6. Mention the way in which the sparrows expressed their sorrow when the author's grandmother died. Answer. The sparrows and the grandmother developed an intimate relationship in this manner. When the grandmother died, thousands of sparrows expressed their sorrow by sitting scattered in the veranda in mourning while grandmother's dead body lay there. They did not chirrup. Author's mother threw some pieces of bread, but they did not eat them. When they carried grandmother's corpse, they flew away quietly. Thus, The sparrows mourned her death and paid their silent tribute to the grand old lady in a very unique manner. Question 7. The author's grandmother was a religious person. What are the different ways in which we come to know this? Answer. The author's grandmother was a religious lady with a kind heart. Her one hand was always busy in telling the beads of her rosary. Her lips constantly moved in an inaudible prayer. She used to get up early in the morning. She did her morning prayer in a monotonous sing-song. Every day, she went along with the author to a school, and while narrator studied she sat in a temple and read scriptures. Later, in the city, she was unhappy that there was no religious teaching at school. Before dying, she stopped talking to her family members and turned to prayer. Question 8. Describe the changing relationship between the author and his grandmother. Did their feelings for each other change? Answer. The changing circumstances did have a bearing on the relationship between the author and his grandmother. Author and his grandmother lived as intimate friends in the village. A turning point came in their relationship when they came to the city to live with author's parents. The author joined an English school in the city. She remained confined to home, as here she could not accompany him to the school. In the new English school she could not help him in studies. She could not like the kind of education being given to the author at the English school. The grandmother became disturbed as there was no teaching about God and scriptures in the new school. She reconciled herself with spinning and taking to feed the sparrows. When the narrator grew up, he went up to university and then went abroad. The common link of friendship between the author and his grandmother was snapped. His grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation. No, their feelings for each other did not change, though distances grew between them. Question 9. Would you agree that the author's grandmother was a person strong in character? If yes, give instances that show this. Answer. Yes, the author's grandmother was a person strong in character. The instances to prove this are given below. The author's grandmother was a person strong in character. She was a picture of contentment. She had her own thoughts about the learning at school. She considered the teaching of scriptures to be more fruitful than science and music. In her phase of loneliness and seclusion, she took to wool spinning and feeding sparrows. She appeared composed and did not display any emotion when the author decided to go abroad for studies. Ignoring everyone who tried to stop her, she sang for several hours celebrating the homecoming of her grandson. During the last few hours of her life, ignoring the protests of her family members, she stopped talking to everyone and took to reciting prayers and telling her beads. Question 10. Have you know someone like the author's grandmother? Do you feel the same sense of loss with regard to someone whom you have loved and lost? Answer. Yes, I knew someone like the author's grandmother. It was my own grandmother who passed away recently. The intense sense of loss is very heart-wrenching, as I spent almost 15 years of my life with her. Oh, or no, I have never known someone the way the author knew his grandmother. Thus, I have never felt the sense of grief presented in the story. Question 11. Which language do you think the author and his grandmother used while talking to each other? Answer. The author and his grandmother might have used their mother tongue to converse with each other. As the author, Kushwant Singh, belongs to Punjab, the language used by them might be Punjabi. Question 12. Which language do you use to talk to elderly relatives in your family? Answer. Your mother tongue could be English, Hindi, Telugu, Bhojpuri, etc. Question 13. How would you say equals a dilapidated drum in your language? Answer. Know your meaning in mother tongue. In Hindi it is fata hua dolak. Question 14. Notice the following uses of the word equals tell in the text. 1. her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. 2. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning. 3. At her age one could never tell. 4. She told us that her end was near. Given below are 4 different senses of the word equals tell. Match the meanings to the uses listed above. 1. Make something known to someone in spoken or written words. 2. Count while reciting. 3. Be sure. 4. Give information to somebody. Answer 1. Make something known to someone in spoken or written words. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning. 2. Count while reciting, her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. 3. Be sure, at her age, one could never tell. 4. Give information to somebody, she told us that her end was near. Question 15. Notice the different senses of the word equals take. 1. To take to something, to begin to do something as a habit. 2. To take ill, to suddenly become ill. Locate these phrases in the text and notice the way they are used. Answer. The instances where these phrases have been used in the story are given below. 1. She took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. This phrase refers to the daily activity that the author's grandmother took up when they shifted to the city. 2. The next morning she was taken ill. This phrase refers to the author's grandmother's sudden illness.
If you like the video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe the channel for more videos. Thank you.